Ever notice how certain people command respect effortlessly? They are never interrupted. Their time is never wasted. So what sets them apart? What hidden quality do they possess that you lack? Prepare yourself. What I'm about to reveal may anger you. The reason they earn respect isn't because they're smarter, wealthier, or more accomplished. It's because they've mastered a psychological secret you've never been taught. A simple yet devastatingly effective trick that, once understood, will transform your entire existence. Someone cuts past you in line and you say nothing. A friend flaked last minute for the third time and you smile politely. Someone swipes credit for your idea and you let it go. Do you realize what that really means? You're training people to trample over you. But here's the shocking truth. Those who avoid this never do so by chance. They wield a dark psychological secret unearthed by Machiavelli 500 years ago. A secret that divides those who command power from those who beg for acceptance. What if I told you that striving to be liked is your greatest weakness? That every attempt to gain approval strips you of power? That the more you chase approval, the less respect you actually receive? This isn't some feel-good fluff. It's raw, brutal psychology that never fails. By the time this video ends, you'll know why some people naturally own every room, while others fade into the background. Why some get heard and others ignored. Most crucially, how to become the person no one dares disrespect. Ready to stop being everyone's fallback option and start becoming their top choice? Now drop this affirmation in the comments. Respect over approval. Number 1. The hidden weakness of being liked. Every person who's ever trampled over you, dismissed you, or made you feel invisible had one thing in common. They knew you craved their approval far more than they valued yours. Think about it. When was the last time someone truly respected a desperate people-pleaser? Never. Desperation reeks, and everyone smells it from miles away. What happens when pleasing others becomes your priority? You become painfully predictable. People anticipate how you'll react. A smile when insulted, agreement when you want to protest, your presence when they disregard your time. Once predictable, you become disposable. The harder you try to earn liking, the less you are actually liked. It's twisted, but reflect on those you actually respect. Are they desperation seekers, or those who effortlessly stand tall without begging for approval? The truth is, people gravitate toward those who don't need them. Human nature is simple. We desire what we cannot easily grasp and dismiss what is handed freely. When you chase approval, you devalue yourself in everyone's eyes. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." He wasn't endorsing tyranny. He was teaching the art of respect. Fear here is not terror, but consequence. When others know crossing you carries a penalty, they behave differently. Consider the people you respect most, your toughest mentor, your strictest superior, or that brutally honest friend. What unites them? They don't need your approval to feel worthy. They have boundaries, and they enforce them. Meanwhile, people-pleasers get trampled, ignored, and forgotten, because being available to all makes you special to no one. The ones who exploit your need to be liked don't truly respect you. They may flatter you with sweet words, but secretly they see you as weak. Behind closed doors, they count on you bending backwards for mere scraps of attention. This is the trap millions fall into, believing niceness and compliance earn respect. But respect isn't given, it's claimed, and you cannot claim it while begging on your knees. Post this affirmation in the comments now. I choose power. Number 2, the dark power of respect. Now that you see why being liked destroys you, let's talk about what truly works. Respect. Not the fake, polite kind, but the primal respect that makes people pause before crossing you. Respect builds on one foundation: consequences. When people know disrespect comes with a price, they don't mess with you. But when disrespect goes unpunished, they march all over you. The biggest mistake is mistaking admiration for respect. Admiration comes from achievements or talents. Respect comes from knowing you won't tolerate disrespect. It springs from boundaries that carry real weight. When someone disrespects you and you allow it, you teach that disrespect is free. You train them in bad behavior. But when disrespect triggers instant consequences, losing access, support, or presence, they learn fast not to repeat it. Nicest people suffer the worst abuses because they've made themselves safe to disrespect. Once safe, respect vanishes. Now imagine flipping that script. Making clear your time, attention, and energy aren't free. When disrespect triggers immediate costs, people begin watching every word, thinking before action, and treating you like someone worthy. Machiavelli once said, "Men are so simple and ready to follow immediate necessities that he who deceives will always find someone to be deceived." People treat you only as you let them, no better, no worse. Respect's dark power feeds itself. Demand more, get more. The more you get, the easier to demand. Unlike demanding to be liked, which surrenders control, demanding respect puts you in command. Respect isn't handed out, it's seized by refusing anything less. Think of your most revered people. Do they beg for respect, justify it, or compromise standards to please? Absolutely not. They simply reject disrespect. And that refusal is their power. That's the divide between power and powerlessness. Powerful people know respect isn't negotiable. Powerless people think it's earned through giving away their strength. Drop this affirmation. My worth isn't debatable. Number 3, the psychology of control. Brace yourself. Every encounter you have is a battle for control, over conversation, relationships, outcomes. And if you don't know who commands that control, it's not you. Approval seekers unknowingly surrender it. Every tweak to please someone else hands over control of your actions. Staying silent to avoid conflict cedes control of your voice. Saying yes when you mean no gifts control over your choices. But those free from approval dependency keep control. They voice what they believe regardless of reactions. They decide based on their desires, not expectations. They set terms, but not accept conditions. That's why approval addiction is dangerous. It's not just emotional, it's control theft. Need approval to feel worthy? You've handed them the remote to your emotions. Think about it. Desperate for liking, you'll do anything to keep others happy, changing opinions, hiding parts of yourself, compromising values. That's not freedom, it's bondage. But when you don't depend on approval, you hold true power. You're okay being disliked if it means staying authentic. Confident people aren't unbothered. They just refuse to let opinions define them. They're psychologically invincible. Machiavelli remarked, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few feel what you truly are." Ceasing approval performance makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability equals power. Breaking free means no one can manipulate emotions through guilt or shame. Your choices become clear. What's best for you, not what appeases others. Your relationships deepen because they're built on respect, not desperation. Now post this. I control my worth. Number 4, the addiction to approval. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your craving for approval is an addiction. And like any addiction, it's exploited by those who understand it deeply. Here's how it works. A compliment or a like floods your brain with dopamine, the same chemical triggered by drugs, making you feel amazing. But once that rush fades, you need another hit. Those around you quickly learn this pattern. They discover that a bit of praise can sway you to do almost anything. Need you to stay late? Praise your work ethic. Need to borrow money? Compliment your generosity. Need to excuse their bad behavior? Sweet talk your understanding. They are weaponizing your neural chemistry. The worst? You're complicit, desperate for validation, so you clutch any crumb. Approval addiction makes manipulation effortless. No coercion needed. Just sprinkle approval. Watch you twist into a puppet. But those who don't crave approval are impervious. You can't control someone who doesn't need control. You can't manipulate someone who doesn't seek acceptance. Validation is cheap to give, but costly to crave. Anyone can say you're great. It costs them nothing. But to feel worthy, you need constant affirmation from more people, becoming fully dependent on external control. Machiavelli warned, "He who cares more about what ought to be done than what is already done invites ruin." Focusing on others' expectations destroys your power. See it in real life. Approval addicts mold their personality to fit each crowd. Different opinions, hidden selves, a carousel of masks, not a real person. Meanwhile, the approval-free remain consistent, authentic, and fearless of disapproval. Ironically, this authenticity earns far more respect and genuine liking than any people-pleaser ever will. But quitting approval addiction is brutal. Your mind battles you relentlessly, convincing you solitude awaits without approval, guilt for refusing to care, urge to return to validation's comfort. This takes discipline, choosing to resist even when desperate. You must embrace being disliked, misunderstood, and criticized. Value your own view above all else. Share this affirmation now. My validation comes from within. Number 5, Machiavellian rules to command respect. Now for practical mastery. The rules that morph you from pushover to power player, silently commanding respect. These principles aren't hypothetical. They're proven to work without fail. Rule 1, speak less, do more. Most ramble endlessly, justify themselves, and beg for understanding, looking weak and needy. The powerful speak only when it matters, and let actions speak louder than words. They don't excuse or explain decisions to undeserving ears. When disrespected, no speeches, just leave. When boundaries are crossed, no explanations, just consequences. When questioned, no defense, just unwavering resolve. Machiavelli said, "The lion cannot defend itself against traps, and the fox cannot defend itself from wolves. You must be a fox to detect traps, and a lion to intimidate wolves. Be cunning, be fierce." Rule 2, never chase approval. Simple yet tough. No pleading texts when ignored. No explanations when met with coldness. No chasing approval broadcasts desperation, which repels respect. Instead, be indifferent. If they like you, fine. If not, that's their problem. This indifference mystifies and increases respect. Rule 3, stay cold and composed under attack. Emotional responses hand control to your adversaries. Staying calm, indifferent, or amused exposes psychological bulletproofness. This terrifies manipulators who rely on emotional reactions. Rule 4, be unpredictable. Predictability invites manipulation. Keep others off guard. Sometimes kind, sometimes ruthless, sometimes social, sometimes distant, sometimes helpful, sometimes self-focused. This imbalance commands autonomy. Machiavelli stated, Since love and fear rarely coexist, it's safer to be feared than loved. Don't be predictably nice or mean, be strategically both. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries immediately and silently. Swiftness and clarity trump harshness. Silence outweighs explanations. No repeated warnings or second chances. Consequences speak volumes. Post this now. I am unmovable. Number 6. Scarcity and distance as power multipliers. Many misunderstand value, thinking constant availability means worth. They think always agreeing or saying yes makes them indispensable. Wrong on all counts. Scarcity equals value. The rarer something is, the more desire it arouses. Commonness breeds neglect, applies to money, opportunities, and especially you. Always being present makes you background noise. People stop appreciating, stop valuing, stop fearing to hurt you. But scarcity reverses that. Limiting time, attention, and forgiveness turns them into precious resources. Consider social power figures, never the constant yes men. They decide when to show up, when to leave, and say no without justification. Their calculated presence raises their worth. This is power through selective engagement, not cruelty, but discernment. Machiavelli said, "People judge far more by appearances than reality. The less they see of you, the more intrigued they become. Curiosity draws people in. Practically, don't rush to respond instantly. Respond when you choose. Don't accept every invite. Choose selectively. Help those deserving, not all asking. This isn't selfishness, but valuing finite resources. Give freely and they become worthless. Give selectively and they become priceless. Scarcity builds upon itself. Less availability means more demand, leading to better treatment, allowing greater selectiveness, an upward spiral of influence. You must accept losing those who valued only your availability. Good riddance. Real relationships survive, based on respect, not your desperation. Distance sharpens perspective, freeing you from managing others' feelings so you can focus on your goals. The most powerful often seem detached, not from carelessness, but strategic clarity. So what happens when you apply all this? When you replace approval addiction with respect, command? Everything changes. Relationships deepen, some disappear. Good. Confidence soars without needing outside validation. Opportunities arrive instead of you chasing them. Stress falls when you stop monitoring everyone's emotions. Most importantly, you become psychologically free. Free from chasing approval and wearing masks. Machiavelli said, "Titles don't honor men. Men honor titles. Your worth lies in your self-view and how you live it. Transformations aren't instant or easy. You'll struggle, doubt, and question boundaries. But push through. The other side holds your true self, commanding respect effortlessly, attracting real connections, wielding power without abuse. The world overflows with desperate pleasers, but starves for respected people. Which will you be? If you made it this far, you're ahead of most. The brave, willing to face uncomfortable truths instead of remaining powerless and compromised. You're ready to shift from being walked on to being respected, from begging approval to needing none, from losing your power to owning it. Remember, this isn't coldness or cruelty. It's strength, knowing your worth and refusing less than respect, breaking free of approval addiction and stepping into power that's always been yours. The tactics: speak less, never chase, stay calm, be unpredictable, enforce boundaries, use scarcity, aren't just tricks, but a life philosophy that commands respect naturally. Machiavelli said, "The wise act immediately what fools delay." Don't wait years getting trampled before you rise. Start now. Begin with your very next interaction. Your future self, a person commanding respect, surrounded by genuine relationships, independent of approval, is waiting. How long will you keep them waiting? If this opened your eyes, hit like. Share this with someone who needs it. For more no-nonsense tools for power, subscribe and ring the bell. Your journey from people-pleaser to respected individual starts here. Now drop this final affirmation. Respect is my birthright. In a world full of approval beggars, the one who refuses approval holds all the power. Be that person. Command your respect. Watch your life transform when you finally stop surrendering your power.